Hey, this is Russ, also known as RK Slade. Today we're going to talk about the DCI tour premiere that happened last night. Now, many of you have already seen the news. Your favorite corps that performed last night, they've already posted the scores, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. I'm just going to give my own personal thoughts about each performance. Pretty awesome to be in California and watch something going on in Indianapolis. So let's dive right in. We had the Crossmen, who opened up the night and came in 6th with a score of 63.800. I loved the Crossmen. I loved their uniforms. I loved their sound. I loved their show design. I loved their repertoire. I was really impressed with the Crossmen. They had a few bumps and bruises along the way. You could tell it was an early performance. In my mind, I was just excited to see the very first performance, the very first corps. And so they ended up scoring the lowest, but I think they did a great job. Was proud to see what they put on the field. Number 5 was the Blue Stars with a score of 64.150. Now the Blue Stars came out and put on a great performance, was excited to see what they had. Nothing really jumped out at me. It was just a great, solid performance. You know, there were a few glitches here and there, but generally speaking, like, it just went off without a hitch, and that's what you want for your first performance. Number 4, the Cadets with a score of 68.300. We know that the Cadets are bringing something back that has been a huge part of their history. On 2 separate occasions, the Cadets performed music from Leonard Bernstein's Mass. And so to bring it back had a lot of the old faithful followers excited, and so to see what they did with it last night, I was actually really surprised when they came out on the field with their priest-like uniforms. But it was definitely a departure from what we're used to seeing traditionally for the old uniforms. I think long gone are the days that we see these drum corps in just the traditional marching band style uniforms. But wow, the Cadets came in 4th place. I felt like they should have been a little bit higher, but it's hard to put them above the Cavaliers, Crown, and the Bluecoats. But just for sheer volume of show, difficulty, and complexity, the Cadets just put on an amazing performance. I had no major negatives necessarily for the show, but you could tell, again, early show, later in the season, they're going to be hard to beat with such a huge, complex piece. Number 3, the Cavaliers with a score of 70.150. It's getting pretty close up there at the top, all within 2 points of each other. Men Are From Mars, it was a decent show. Nothing really jumped out and wowed me. The mashup of the Mars and My Way was a little odd, but it worked. Can't wait to see it again, and just as the season progresses, see how everything just kind of clicks along and see if it kind of just feels more natural. I love their uniforms. Number 2, Carolina Crown with a score of 70.950. They performed in the number 5 spot, and they came out of the gates loud and proud, and their horn line and percussion just blew the roof off of the place, and they did amazing for about 2/3 of their show. And then, I hate to say it because I'm seeing it all over social media today, but the change, the thing that really kind of, at least from a fan's perspective, is casting a shadow on their show is the vocalist. Now, the vocalist did an amazing job. I loved what she was doing individually. She sang her heart out. She put on a great performance. But in the context of the show, what most fans are saying, it was a little bit too much. I think between the Bluecoats and Crown, I think because of that, Crown definitely earned their 2nd place spot, but they didn't do anything to, in my book, to push them past the Bluecoats. Bluecoats with a score of 72.300, taking the top spot of the night. I was actually very impressed by what they did, and this is how I see what's going on with the Bluecoats. A lot of fans are even today talking about the Bluecoats uniforms. There was no blue. Where's the traditional Bluecoats? You're called Bluecoats and you weren't wearing blue or a coat, and I get it. But we also see the Bluecoats saying, you know what, we're gonna take who we are and we're gonna rearrange it and shuffle it up and reinvent and recreate a little bit, and we're gonna start pushing the limits of what we can do. And so last year we saw them come out of the gates just all cylinders firing with the Downside Up show and the new costumes / uniforms, however you want to look at it. And we saw them take that trajectory that they just exploded with last year and continue it this year. They come out with these uniforms that to me look like they're straight out of Clockwork Orange. A lot of the feedback today is that they did an excellent job and the show was designed well, and that the jagged line down the middle of the field, the big prop, was definitely a neat thing to see and that everything was just great. They performed well enough to be that 1 or 2 spot, and obviously they earned the top spot according to the judges. But that compared to last year, that they don't seem to be doing anything fresh or new or original. The arrangements sound very, very similar. The uniform looks very similar and the show design looks very similar. Well, that's fine to have that opinion, and the hard part is that the judges aren't taking last year into consideration. They're judging solely based on what they see. So they awarded the Bluecoats the #1 spot based on last night, not based on last year. When it happens like it did last night, we're a little disappointed because we thought, oh wow, the Bluecoats are going to come out and they've been waiting to announce everything and it's just going to blow our minds. And then what it was just a little bit more of the same from last year. And so that's okay. That's okay because, hey, it's enough to win them first place. I really, really enjoyed it and had a great time. Can't wait to see more events. In fact, tonight I'm headed to the Mid-Cal Championships in Clovis, California to catch as many of the world-class corps that I can. What are your thoughts on the placements last night? Bluecoats #1, Crown #2, Cavaliers #3, Cadets #4, Blue Stars #5, and Crossmen #6. Tell me about it in the comments. And if you love videos like this talking about marching band and drum corps, how about hitting the subscribe button? I greatly appreciate it. And of course, smash that like button, and I'll see you next time.